Well, the preseason finally kicked off for the San Antonio Spurs, and they're up one and they're down one. Welcome to the Spurs Roundtable, powered by Project Spurs. I am your host, Jeff Garcia, and alongside of me is Aaron Prine. Aaron, preseason's finally kicked off for the Spurs, and as I mentioned right now, they're 500, 1-1. Not really much to take away from a preseason game, but let's talk about that loss to Alba Berlin. Last second shot by lucky floater, goes in. They stun the world champs.
And they're immortalizing it on a T-shirt. They're selling the victory for Alba Berlin on a T-shirt over there, just to let you know how big that game was for them. While over here, there's not one person in this country who really takes preseason seriously,
well,
regardless of the sport.
Yeah, well, the guy that hit the game-winning shot against the Spurs, it was Jamal McLean. He actually spoke to Sirius XM Radio, and he actually said that the Spurs were actually a little bitter that the Spurs walked off, kind of saying congratulations, but they didn't look too happy about that. Nonetheless, it is just a preseason.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a lot of Spurs fans were already calling for Pop's head on a plate.
Yeah, sure.
But they bounced back the next game against Turkey, I believe, and they got the win. Again, it's preseason, really 2 games into it, not much to glean, but there are a few things that stood out, at least in my opinion. That is Kyle Anderson. Your thoughts?
Well, yeah, he looks like a rookie.
Big time.
But the thing is Kyle Anderson's not a guy that the team is going to rely upon a lot. It's not like any other team where they draft high in the draft, and this guy's going to have a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He's going to get to play into this system. He's a great passer, but he still has a lot to learn. But he looks like an NBA-ready player.
Right, yeah. He's definitely going to mesh in. The only thing I'm worried about is this. He's going to be buried in that bench, and he's going to be spending a lot of time over in Austin with the Toros, I believe, during the season, because he's not going to get the regular season minutes.
No, but
who's he playing? He's playing behind Ginobili or Danny Greens or Kawhi Leonard's, so it's going to be really tough for him to crack the rotation.
But if there's any team in the NBA that uses their D-League affiliate the best, it's definitely the San Antonio Spurs. They definitely want those guys to get those minutes, to get that game time participation, so that way they're not just sitting on the bench or sitting in a suit, wasting away. So the Spurs have used it to perfection with Corey Joseph. They used it for Kawhi when he was coming back from rehab. They used it a lot with Aaron Baines. They used it with him. They used the Toros to perfection as far as keeping their players sharp.
Right.
The one thing, though, speaking of sharp, that really stood out to me in those 2 preseason games are the turnovers. 41 through 2 games.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's preseason. It's the first games you played since Game 5 of the NBA Finals, but you have to clean that up.
Right.
And so I'm pretty sure Pop, he's upset about it, but he's happy about it because he gets to yell about something.
Yeah, Pop is very happy when the team loses. So these are good learning lessons for the team. And you would think it'd be the opposite. You would think this is a team that brought everybody back. Everybody's on the same page. You know your spots. Baines knows where Duncan is. Duncan knows where Manu is. Yet you have the 25 plus turnovers in the game 1 against Alba Berlin, or 24. And then, of course, you got the turnovers against Turkey. Nonetheless, it is a preseason. Just because they're the same team does not mean they have to shake off some rust.
Well, that and they're across the Atlantic. They're whining and dining. They're touring the countryside.
Didn't Tony Parker say something like, we need to really stop going out or something like that? He need to stop indulging a bit before these games.
So you can blame it on jet lag. You can blame it on not playing for the majority of the summer. A lot of these guys were playing summer ball, though. So still really no excuse, especially with a team as talented as they are in passing.
Now, looking at the 2 games, though, the one thing that stood out for me is actually that they really miss Patty Mills. They don't have that spark plug off the bench. So the question now becomes is, who's going to fill in that Patty Mills role? Is it all eyes on Corey Joseph?
Well, Corey Joseph is not going to be able to do what Patty Mills does. Patty Mills is a quick trigger. He's a guy that focuses outside in, quick offense. That's his thing. Corey Joseph is more of a game manager. Get the ball out.
But isn't that what you want, though?
But it's not. But that's not filling Patty Mills' role. That's a different style of player. You're going to have to rely on more of Ginobili, Bellinelli for that outside presence, that energy.
Corey Joseph can bring the energy. Look at the dunk he had.
Yes, but it's not the same. It's not the same type as Patty Mills. Patty Mills is just that, like you said, spark plug from the outside. Corey Joseph, offensively, you really don't think about him that much. He's more of a defensive guy. That's why Popovich loves him, and he did a really good job when Tony Parker went down last year with the foot injury. So they know what they have in Corey Joseph. And really, there's not going to be anyone else to kind of fill in that role. It's going to be Manu, Bellinelli, and then Joseph.
Right. Are you worried about time management in these preseason games? You saw the starters playing in the 4th quarter against Alba Berlin. They were still out there. Then you saw the game against Turkey. More of the starters were out there towards the end.
I'm not worried about it. Why? It's a preseason. They haven't played in a while. I mean, the beginning of the season is not till the end of October. So, you know, cast them into the fire.
Right,
you know,
yeah.
and let them work off the rust. That's how you get past incidents like 24-plus turnovers,
Right.
19-plus turnovers. You got to let them play.
Right. Well, speaking of this team being overseas in Berlin, there was a little bit of an incident involving one Danny Green. He was at the Holocaust Memorial, took a little selfie there and posted on his Instagram and put a little LOL caption that set off a firestorm throughout the entire world. And
it's on a lack of awareness. You know, he knows where he's at. Everybody knows. There's a reason why that entire team is there. It's just really a bad, poor judgment, lack of awareness of what he's doing.
Well,
and
to his credit, he did apologize.
Yes,
he took it down. So he manned up, and he said
but
he
still,
was wrong. Yeah.
You think there would be a little bit more thought put into that, taking a selfie with the Holocaust Memorial. You know, social media.
I don't think it was just that. I think it's just the fact he put LOL. Because when I lived in New York City, I used to go to the World Trade Center site, and I would take photos. I would take photos right there.
You would hold up your cell phone, smile at it, and take a selfie with the World Trade Center?
No, but I mean, at least I wouldn't put LOL, World Trade Center. I think that's what triggered it off.
I think selfies at a level of respect.
I can't believe we're talking about selfies right now. That's
we really need regular season basketball to start.
Hurry up, regular season, hurry up. We're talking about selfies right now.
But, you know, social media is a wonderful thing, but it's also probably one of the worst things,
right?
Especially when it comes to celebrities, especially athletes, and especially in the mind of a coach, because you have all these personalities you're trying to manage, and then they're constantly connected to the internet now.
And add the fact too that it's the Spurs. They're rarely on the front page for anything negative. So
well,
here it was.
They're not free of incident, but the thing is they're really good at managing their incidents.
Right.
You know, so making sure it doesn't turn into a firestorm. Plus, it helps that we're in San Antonio as opposed to Los Angeles or New York.
Right, yeah, exactly. Well, more of a bigger news, and I'm sure everybody heard about this by now, is Kevin Durant. He is out at least for 6 to 8 weeks with a right toe fracture. Call it the Jones fracture. Thunder fans are upset. Spurs fans are like this right now. Yes, he's out for a few weeks, yes. So a factor or not a factor early in the season?
Early in the season, not a factor, but really the only thing I might play into is as far as the playoff seeding race. You know, if Oklahoma City falls behind, they got a really good player in Russell Westbrook. They also have some other great pieces around them.
You don't have Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
I'm thinking it's a three-horse race in the West. Anyways, it's a really deep conference, but you're looking at
who's your third?
Clippers.
Okay.
Clippers, they're a very well-coached team. They have a lot of great talent, and they got better last season. I think they're going to get better this season. So OKC falling behind early behind San Antonio and Los Angeles, in my mind, as far as that top overall seed in the West.
Right. Well, I mean, it is a chance for the Spurs at least to create a cushion, like a pad, on that OKC, because let's face it, OKC is about the only team out there, in my opinion, that can really give the Spurs fits. Maybe Dallas can, especially because of Rick Carlisle, but it's really, in my opinion, I think it's Dallas and OKC that worries me as a Spurs fan, and as well as just that playoff seeding and whatnot. But no, with Kevin Durant out, though, talk about an opportunity. The Spurs got to cash in early, because once Kevin Durant comes back, he's going to let loose.
Yeah, and that's where bringing back the entire team is really going to help them out. They can't have the turnover problems like they're having in the preseason right now, but they're going to be able to get off to a quick start. Having a team, a big rival like OKC, without their top star, that's going to help them a lot. So San Antonio is not going to be able to afford the luxury of, you know, kind of tweaking with different lineups like Pops like to do. He's still going to do it, but he already knows what he has. So San Antonio is going to be able to take advantage of that.
You're right. Well, if you want to weigh in on selfies, if you want to weigh in on
no LOLs.
Yeah, just no LOLs, okay? Don't put Project Spurs LOL. That'd be bad. But anyway, if you want to talk about the Kevin Durant injury, the early preseason games for the Spurs, go out to ProjectSpurs.com, and don't forget to go out to News4SanAntonio.com, as well as Fox29SanAntonio.com. But for Aaron Prine, I am Jeff Garcia. Thanks again for watching this episode of the Spurs Roundtable. Let's take a selfie now.
Oh, be smart with those phones.
Let's take be smart. Be smart.